Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of The Rich and the Dead. Edited by Nelson DeMille. Performed by Joyce Bean, Sandy Burr, David Colacci, Jeff Cummings, Luke Daniels, Susan Ericksen, Bill Gigante, Dick Hill, Christopher Lane, Dan John Miller, and Natalie Ross.
Introduction by Nelson DeMille. It is an honor and a pleasure to have been chosen as the editor of the 2011 Mystery Writers of America annual anthology. This year's anthology is top-notch, and the stories collected here are in the finest tradition of the mysteries and crime stories that have appeared in this volume over the years. The theme of this collection, as the title suggests, is rich people who are killed or who kill. And for fun, some of our authors also explore the illegal, illicit, and in some cases immoral goings-on of the rich. For additional readings on this subject, I suggest any newspaper any day of the week. I think everyone had fun with this topic, and when the writer is having fun, the reader is having fun. What is it that makes the criminal behavior of the rich and famous so fascinating to us? Often it's not the crime itself, which in many cases would barely make the news if committed by a lesser mortal. It is, I think, aside from the public's obvious fascination with the rich or famous, the idea that someone with so much to lose would risk so much in the commission of a crime. We are captivated by what drove this exalted person to the crime, and we want to know how the law and how society will deal with someone at this level. Will justice be done? Will the notoriety of the accused work for or against him or her? From O.J. Simpson to Bernie Madoff, to every crooked politician and ditzy actress arrested for everything from DWI to murder that you've ever seen on the front pages of the tabloids, the answer is not always clear. But it is entertaining and engrossing to read about. Some of the writers in this collection chose not to make the rich person the perpetrator, but to make him or her the victim. There's a saying in this business that it's hard for a writer to make the reader feel sorry for an unhappy rich girl on a yacht. True enough. But if the unhappy rich girl or guy is murdered or blackmailed or threatened, then we might feel some sympathy for them. In most cases, however, the rich person who is a victim usually got what he or she deserved. But still, a crime has been committed, and now justice must be done. Or does it? Some of the stories to follow examine the moral ambiguities of getting rid of a rich, nasty SOB. Do we want to see this crime solved? Yes. But do we want the perpetrator brought to justice for ridding the world of that rich, nasty SOB? Maybe not. I want to take this opportunity to thank all the writers who put so much time and effort into this year's anthology, though I won't thank them by name, they're in the contents. But I do want to thank by name Barry Zeman of the Mystery Writers of America, MWA, with whom I had the pleasure of working on this project for the last year. Barry did a lot of the heavy lifting and kept me from getting a brain hernia. Thanks, too, to Marjorie Flax, administrative manager of the MWA, who was of enormous help to me when I was president of MWA, and who is truly the administrative manager par excellence for this anthology. I also want to thank John Helfers of Techno Books, who coordinated all the pieces of this project and did a fantastic job of editing. Thanks, too, to Celia Johnson of Grand Central Publishing, GCP, for pulling it all together. GCP is the publisher for my novels, and I'm happy to be working with them on this anthology. This book would not have been possible without the hard work and dedication of the panel of judges, who read nearly 200 submissions from fellow MWA members, and who had the difficult task of choosing the best for me to pick from. Many, many thanks go to Libby Hellman, Daniel Stasauer, Persia Walker, James Lincoln Warren, and Carolyn Wheat. And finally, I also want to